Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary, middle, and high school. We are in our 12th year homeschooling this year. If you're not subscribed, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you are notified of all of my future videos. Today, I am going to be sharing with you the Advent resources that we will be using during Advent for this year. So obviously that is going to include devotionals, and then a couple of other things that we have, the candles that we make every year, some songs that we sing every night after we are done with our devotions and have lit the candle. So I'm just going to share that stuff with you. I decided that I was actually going to do this top down so that I can flip through some of the resources that we use so you can have a closer look. I will have links in the description box for all of these resources. Some of them are resources that we have used in the past and may not necessarily use them this year. I did buy a few new things. I'm specifically thinking about our evening devotion as a family, our evening Advent devotion. So I'm going to share the resources that we've used in the past, as well as some new things that I've purchased. We may end up using all of them. It's really such a precious time for our family to come together each night and light the Advent candles and sit together and have a devotion and talk with one another and pray and sing. So it's a really sweet time, and I'm excited to share those resources with you. So let's get into it. Okay guys, this is the first Advent resource that we have. This is an Advent candle kit. We've gotten this for several years, and it comes with just these beeswax sheets that you make into your own candles, and it has a wick as well, and there are instructions on how to make the candles. This particular package that we got, I think I got it maybe 3 years ago, and it has had plenty of beeswax to make several years worth of candles. So this is, we do this either the Sunday, the first day of Advent, or we do it the day before on the Saturday when we're typically doing all of our Christmas decorating. It's just part of our after Thanksgiving traditions to also make our candles for Advent. Then this is the new resource that I got for the kids and I and my husband to work through. Jesus Has Come, a family devotional on God's promises fulfilled. And this is from the Daily Grace Co. They do have their Advent stuff available now. I will leave a link in the description box for you if you're interested in this. So there's a little table of contents. It has an activity supply list. What is the story of scripture? What is Advent? And then it splits it up into the 4 different weeks. Week 1, hope, then peace, joy, and love. And it has on day 1, which is the Sunday, scripture memory and candle lighting. And then there's a little devotion for each day of the week, and then a family activity for Saturday. So then there's a how to use this devotional and before you begin. And then the family activity supply list, which is super helpful so that you can prepare ahead of time and know what you will need. And then there is the story of scripture, what is Advent, and then you move into your weeks. And obviously first week is hope. There's a memory verse. There's some scripture reading, a little devotional and prayer. The way that it goes, day 2, there is the scripture that you read together, the little devotional, some questions to answer, and then pray together, and then draw a picture about what you learned today. And that's how it's going to be for each day of the week. Again, I will not have the kids draw in this, and I did only purchase one, so we will just have you know, a little notebook that they can draw a picture in, or maybe I'll give them some like travel journals. I always have little Moleskine travel journals. I buy many of them. We use them for nature journals or whatnot. And then the first activity is family hot cocoa night, the supplies you need. And then you move into the next week, which is peace. I think that this will be a lot of fun. I really like to go through the devotional with the kids each night. It's a really nice part of our December, and it kind of just helps us prepare for Christmas, and it gives us all a chance to reconnect as a family for a new day. It's a nice way to go to sleep. And then after we blow out our candle, we will go to bed, which is always nice. So that it's like the last thing that we do for the day. The week 2 activity, make a dove ornament, and then you move into week 3, joy. And that's how it's going to continue to go through each of the days. Then you have joy to the world. And then week 4, love is the last one. I do like that there's a memory verse section for each of the weeks. I think that is really nice. And this is just a really cute little devotional that you could definitely use year after year. Now, in the past, what we have been using for our Advent devotional is we read the Jesus Storybook Bible. There is a corresponding list of readings. You start at the beginning, and I believe that it goes right through every day until, I'm not sure which story it stops on. It's after Jesus is born and maybe part of his childhood, but it's really nice to read this every night as well. And so we started doing that every evening during Advent, and it was a really nice practice for us. It helped us. It was the first thing that we did before we even had Advent candles. We would just sit down and read the story together. So we will continue to do that, even though Emma and Jack are middle and high school right now. We will still read these stories. The kids enjoy it every single year. And Lucy, obviously just being 8, it's still perfect to go through these stories with her. We have a lot of great conversation about it. And then a few years ago, I got this Advent devotional, Unwrapping the Names of Jesus. And we have used this for a couple of years in a row, maybe 3 years actually. And this is very similar to this book. It's got everything separated into the different weeks: hope, preparation, joy, love, and then why celebrate Advent. And then each week starts out with scripture, and then you get to the Advent celebration, and each week it has a little response, and we go around and read through the response. Somebody will read the different, we just pass the book around. Somebody will read the different scripture, somebody will read the different responses and questions, and then it does have a little sing the following carol, and so I print out, or I grab my hymnal, and we will sing whatever the hymn is for the week. And then there is a little bit of a devotion each day, which has scripture, the devotion, and then a little challenge and a prayer, and then further study, more scripture. And that's how it goes through each day of the week. And then it does have an activity for week 1. And so there's several different options for the activity. And then there are also printables that you can get as well that correspond to the different weekly activities. And we've really enjoyed using this. And then it goes again to the next week, and it has the same little response where you go around and you do a prayer and you light the candles, you read the verse, someone asks, someone responds, read the following passage, all of that, and there's discussion questions, and then a new hymn or carol, they're calling them carols, for the week. And then you have your devotions each day, Monday through Friday, and then on Saturday you get to the week 2 activities. And so you don't have to do all of the activities. You can just pick one, or you can use them. We have used them throughout the week, not just on Saturday, so that I have some extra stuff. And that's kind of what we do during Advent for our homeschool as well. I have a few more resources this year that I've planned out to use during our winter homeschool break this year, but these little activities have served us well over the years, especially when the kids were a little bit younger. And yeah, so that's how it goes all the way through to the end. And then it does have a little Christmas Day section, which I think is really nice. Yeah, so this is another resource that we have used. Now, I don't know if I will use this in addition to this year, if we will just use the devotional from Jesus Has Come and then maybe choose some of the other activities that we've enjoyed over the past several years from this devotional as well. I know that we will definitely be using this for a devotional, and depending on how my kids are doing, I might also do another Advent devotional outside of our family devotional, because we do Advent in the evening with my husband, but we could also do a little Advent devotional in the morning when it's just the kids and I. I think that would also be nice. And then the last thing that I got is not really a resource for the kids, but it is a resource for my husband and I. I got this Hope Has Come, His and Hers Advent devotional study for my husband and I. This, I believe, is the men's one, and this is the women's version. It says the promise of Christ and all of Scripture. There are some study suggestions, suggested study tools, how to use this study, and then a section on how to study the Bible, which is very helpful, the attributes of God and corresponding scripture, meta-narrative of scripture. And then in the table of contents, it's also breaking things down into hope, peace, joy, and love, the 4 weeks of Advent. It talks about the Advent candle lighting tradition, and then you move into week 1, day 1, which is your first Sunday of Advent, where you're lighting the first candle, and it talks about hope, and there's a little devotional and prayer. I'm not sure how different these are, or if it's the same content but maybe different pictures. And then you're moving into week 1, day 2, which would be Monday. So, okay, so it has the devotion, it has your scripture reading, and then it has some areas to reflect on the scripture reading and answer some questions. And that's probably how it will be for each one. And there's obviously different questions for each day. So I thought that this would be a lot of fun. My husband and I have our own devotional practices. We don't do a ton of couple devotions. We tend to have discussions together and ask each other questions and stuff. But we don't sit down and do a devotion together. And I'm not sure if this is necessarily something that is done together, or if it's just 2 different little devotionals to get you through the Advent season. And then at the end of the week, there is week 1 reflection, review all the passages from the week, and then answer some questions. I think this will be a really nice thing to have for my husband and I. I don't think that we're going to sit down and do this together, but I definitely can see us having a conversation at the end of the day as to what we've learned from our devotion for the day. And I think that that's a really nice thing to have, especially during Advent. So this is the men's version, and then this is the women's version, and it's set up the same way. Same beginning sections. So I am interested to see. Okay, so it is the same content, which is really nice. I think that'll be, so, we'll be able to go through and do the devotions individually and then come together to discuss it. And I think that that will be really nice. It does have, but it is all of the same content, just different font and different pictures, depending on if you get the his or the hers version. A little bit different coloring maybe as well. But very nice to have this to go through together, I think. There is not an activity section in this, obviously, but it probably is very similar in content to this. So if I am working through this first in the morning by myself, by the time I sit down with the kids, I will have extra information, I would assume, to go over with the kids in the evening when we do our family devotional. But overall, I'm really excited about the new resources that I have this year. These are all from the Daily Grace Co., which is a company that I have not purchased from before, but I saw an ad. Those social media ads, they really get me. And it looked like something that would work out really well for us. So I did purchase these 3 things. And then the other thing, there is an Advent study, like a Write the Word journal from Cultivate What Matters. I'm not sure if it will be available when I post this video. And in fact, last year when I went to get the Advent Write the Word journal, it was sold out. They tend to sell out of their special seasonal products pretty quickly, unfortunately. So, but I will leave a link for that as well. I love the Write the Word journals. They are something that I have been using since they came out from Cultivate What Matters. And I really like to focus on a scripture and be able to reflect on that scripture. I really like how those are set up. So that is what we have planned for Advent resources for 2022. Again, I will have links to all of these things in the description box. If you have questions about any of these resources, please let me know. Again, these 2 resources are things that we have used for years now and really enjoy them. And then these are new, but I think they're going to really be a nice addition to our Advent time this year. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.